The year is almost over, and let me tell you, when I tell you I've learned so many things this year, it's actually ridiculous. So here are 10 things that I learned in 2023. Number one, some things really need to stay in the drafts. Not everything needs to be said. So when I was having a conversation with my friend about this, and I realized the more I've gotten older, I feel like there's certain things I think before. I feel like if I thought it, I would say it. Not everything, but certain things just do not need to be put out into the atmosphere. The world does not need to know it. They just need to stay here. And I feel like even with TikTok as well, like social media nowadays, it's like oversharing is a thing. Not everything needs to be said to the general public. They could live right here in the little cocoon we have as a brain. That sounds condescending. But no, not everything really needs to be said out loud. Like you can keep some things to yourself or some comments to yourself. See, this is how these arguments just started. You can just really keep some of these comments to yourself. They do not need to be said out to the general public, and that's going to be okay with your soul. But I feel like I had to kind of learn that the hard way. Not saying that I was going about saying everything that I thought, but I feel like there's more restriction for me personally now. Like I'll just keep it here. If you ask for it, yes. Even sometimes if they ask for it, just keep it in the back of the noggin. Number two, multiple things can be true at once. And I emphasize this because I kind of already knew that multiple things can be true at once. This is not like a new philosophical discovery. However, I say this because I feel like some people tend to forget. You tend to be in the world where you're like, okay, my statement is true. Okay, but her statement can be true at the same time. I think it's something that, like, as these situations come up, I need to remind myself, like, yeah, but these two things can exist in the same field of truthness, in the same aura of the truth. They can exist simultaneously together. They do not need to be separated. Something that we need as a general public to remember. Multiple things can be true at the same time. Number three, it's okay to admit your wrongdoings. Taking accountability for your own actions is the most important thing that you can do. I'm not talking about taking accountability for her actions, his actions, their actions, your actions. Because the only person where you really have any type of control of is yourself. It's okay to admit when you're wrong. Not saying I didn't know this before, but I think I'm just stressing it. It stressed itself. It was stressing itself a lot in 2023. And I want to make that known. We got to take more accountability for our own actions. Other people's actions, okay, but like when you do the reflection, you need to understand the role that you played in this. And if you played any negative role in the situation, you need to be able to own up to it and be like, hey, I was wrong when that happened. And that's okay. That is a-okay. Number four, meet people where they meet you. This one now. Somebody says they're going to meet you at Target. Don't meet them at BJ's. Don't meet them at BJ's. Meet people where they meet you. This one was hard for me to kind of come to grasp with, because like sometimes you want to go above and beyond for people, but that is not the case for everyone. And that's also like a lesson within itself, is that you need to be able to meet people where they're actively meeting you. Like I said with this analogy, if you guys agree, well, if they're meeting you at Target, why did you go to BJ's? BJ's is further. Go to Target, Mamacita, that's it. You really have to see where people are meeting you. And I mean, it comes with the territory of like understanding where you like to show up for people or how you like to show up for people. But I think the standard should just be meet them where they meet you. Point blank, period. Number 6. The loudest person in an argument will quite often, more than not, be wrong. And this is like emphasis on argument, right? Because when I was writing down these 10 things that I have learned, I just put the loudest person will always be wrong. But like in an argument, elevation of voice would mark you as the naysayer, not the naysayer, but the wrongdoer. You really need to learn how to argue. At least for me, this is what I learned. Learn to argue quietly, but not quietly, like stern, but not like. It's come to my attention that sometimes elevation of voice can be seen as threatening or like aggravating in a way. So I'm consciously trying to, like, if there's an argument going on, to like literally argue like I'm talking right now. Because it's something that I've learned is that if you are the loudest person, the attention will be on you. And quite often, more than not, the blame will also be on you. So keep that in the noggin. Number 6, activating new parts of your brain is essential. As someone who majored in neuroscience, like, neuroplasticity is a thing. And I think in this day and age where you can easily fall into the trap of constantly doing the same thing and not creating new connections or activating like new connections in your brain. I like to do things out of my comfort zone, or do things that require me to use different parts of how I think, right? So for example, this is something that I was talking to my Pilates instructor about. I started Pilates with the reformer, not like regular like floor Pilates, but Pilates with a reformer machine. One thing that I didn't realize about Pilates with a reformer machine, it's a lot of like mind-body connection, right? Because the instructor will tell you, okay, take your left leg, bended position, right hand to the left leg. So you're trying to, first of all, figure out what she's saying, but then have your body also match those movements. I've gone, like, I'm a Pilates girly now. I started going a couple of sessions now, actually. And with each time, I'm realizing I'm getting better at, like, taking what she says and applying it to my body. It's not the same part of your brain. It's like, you know, the thing where it's like, put your head on top of your head, your belly, and then rub it at the same time. It's kind of that phenomenon. And for me, I feel like it makes me think a bit more differently than what I'm used to. Like, there's certain patterns or certain habits that you start to take day by day, and then your brain just gets accustomed to doing it. So putting something new out there will definitely activate different parts of your brain, different parts of how you think. So I think this is vital. And I feel like a lot of people don't take the initiative to do this, but this is something that now I consciously is into my forefront, consciously think about, because I think it's very important as you get older in brain development. But activating new parts of your brain is highly, highly essential. Number 7, doing things out of your comfort zone will always result in the lesson learned. It's only going to help you grow. As a person who loves doing things out of comfort zone, something that I kind of knew again, but like I feel like a lot of these 10 things that I learned, I kind of already know, but it has amplified this year. Amplified. Okay? Do things out of your comfort zone. My number one thing that I have yet to done is like go to a lunch or a dinner in New York City by myself, which is preposterous because when I was in Ecuador, I used to go to lunch by myself at the restaurant, just sit there. But the difference is, and I keep saying this, is that like when I was in Ecuador, I would see the coast and enjoy the coast. So like I didn't necessarily need anyone to talk to, but here it's different. And I don't know why, but it's on my list for 2024. But I feel like for me, since I live close to my friends, it's very easy for me to just be like, hey guys, like, do you want to go grab some lunch? Somebody comes along with me. But for me to like do it by myself and then sit there by myself, I have yet to do. I really have yet to do. But doing things out of your comfort zone is only going to push you. This year I competed in Miss New York USA, and that, if you haven't seen that video, definitely make sure to check out that video because the story of how I got involved in it and what I've learned, the lessons that I've took from competing in this pageant, godsend, honestly, godsend. But yeah, it's only going to help you grow. When you step out of your comfort zone, it's only going to help you either learn a lesson or help you grow. Number 8. If it's not happening the way you want to, do not force it. I feel like sometimes I get so easily caught up in wanting things to come out a certain way, wanting it to happen a certain way. But something that I've realized is that sometimes you kind of just have to like relax. It'll happen the way it's meant to be. Sometimes the way it's meant to be might be the way you want it to be. It wasn't the time for it to happen, right? So again, that's something that I really, really honed on to in 2023, is that really do not force it. If it's meant to be, it will happen. Just maybe it might not happen in the way that you want it to be, but it will happen nonetheless. Number 9, acquaintances is a word for a reason. Don't force that friendship. Oh. I don't know why that sounded so shady. Yeah, acquaintances is a word for a reason. Do not force that friendship. It is okay for people to just be an acquaintance to you, you know? Not everybody has to be your bestie. I don't know that. No, but like not like that's something that like I've really thought about a lot this year, friendship and how friendship operates. But like it's okay for people to just be acquaintances with you. That's fine. And to me in the past, I don't think I was not okay with that being a fact. However, I didn't really hold on to it like that, because people who say they have like 100 friends, and I'm just like, there's no way. How do you have 100 friends? You know every single thing about those 100 people. You know their favorite cake, their this and that. I mean, obviously that doesn't qualify as like friendship or whatever, but you know, like do you know personal details about 100 people? I think there's a statistic that your mind can only handle like 4 to 5 friends at a time. Like your brain can only handle 4 to 5 friends at a time. So the rest of those people will be acquaintances, and that's fine. And with each season, certain people you become more close to, certain people you don't become, like they fall into the category of acquaintances. Kind of leading on to what I think is there being different tiers of friendship, right? Some people can be knocked from tier this, tier that. People move, people change, people go through things. But acquaintances is the word for a reason, and you need to be comfortable in using that, because not everybody's going to be your bestie. Finally, number 10. There is no life in the past. Be in the present. Let me repeat that. There is no life in the past. You have to live in the present. This is something I struggled with. Me and my therapist have talked about this. Because sometimes, at least for me, I tend to get stuck in the past, trying to like make sure that I don't repeat the things that I did, which is good, but you can't live in the past. We live in the present for a reason. You need to live in the now, learn from the past, but live in the now. There's no life in the past. The same thing can be said with there's no life in the future, right? There's people who tend to live in the future, who like are always living for what's to come. There's no life there either. All the life is in the present. All the life is in the present. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. Make sure to like, subscribe, send this to a friend. You know, if this is one of the 10 things is something that a friend needs, send it over to them. But thank you so much. I hope you come back for future videos, because 2024 is definitely going to be, I'm going to revive this channel. I feel like this channel has been kind of dead. I'm trying to revive it. But thank you so much. And I hope you have a blessed day, new year, blessed life. Thank you.